Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Jamilah-Rose, and I am here tonight at the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. That's right. I'm here being interviewed. It's so fly. I love it. Make sure you tap in. Don't forget.
A show dedicated to all the roses out there. Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Harlem, Staten Island. Jersey too.
Facts.
Shout out Tiana Taylor. Shout out Kanye. All the ladies.
This shit's on fire.
It be the one.
Listen up.
Don't give it up. Shout out to Tiana Taylor, Rose in Harlem off her Keep the Same Energy album. I think that dropped like in 2019, 2020. Welcome world, episode 110 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. I am the brother Burnz. The brother VSOP is not here, so not as always. Today we have a special guest host, Young Ash on the mic.
Hey.
Holla.
Okay.
Ash is making her world premiere. She's going to be giving us the current events shortly. On the check-in, as always, we got International Blood.
Yeah. Shout out, baby girl. What's goody?
Absolutely. And shout out to your baby girls out there living the pool life.
You know?
What you said, 95 degrees?
95, baby. Sunny Florida. Come down.
Yeah, we on our way. In studio guest today, this lovely young lady has a long list of accomplishments and projects. She is a CEO. She is a social justice leader, a motivational speaker. She has recently become an ordained minister. She's a publicist, a fashion designer, a songwriter, the New York City Housing Authority girl, the project babe with the M.B.A., the founder of From Projects to Profits, and the founder of Power of Stilettos, and the founder of Profile Entertainment, Miss Jamilah-Rose.
Thank you.
No, that's all you. I just read off what
How
you
you
done
read it
did.
without even taking it right.
No.
Thank you.
Shout out and congratulations to you. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on all these terrific accomplishments. We're going to go into detail on all of them, but thank you for creating From Projects to Profits. Thank you for creating Power of Stilettos. These are both nonprofit organizations that are helping both men and women.
Yes.
So shout out to you for doing that. Big up to doing that. Big up to Brooklyn, as always. The brother VS is at a wedding, so shout out to him. Shout out to the couple getting married. What else? Shout out to Pearls and Lipsticks, which is Miss Jamilah-Rose's beauty bars. There's one in Brooklyn, I believe, and one in Elmwood Park, New Jersey.
Belmont. Mírame a mí. Bloomfield.
Bloomfield. So if you're in Bloomfield, go check that out.
Yeah.
Pearls and Lipsticks. You can also pick up Bougie Cosmetics there, right?
Yes, yeah.
And you can get the accessories, Epiphany Amor accessories. So damn. That's a long list of brands and companies and stuff. And
Renaissance woman.
absolutely. Shout out to that. And make sure you're following all these brands on Instagram. So let's start with Epiphany Amor, which is Miss Jamilah's personal page. Make sure you're following at Pearls and Lipsticks. Make sure you're following at Power of Stilettos. Make sure you're also following the podcast at GHHD_podcast, the Brother F, at Ephranar711. Make sure you're following at Deadass_worldwide. Make sure you're following at Comey_Joseph_. And make sure you're following today's co-host at Ashley Ramos_23. And she's on break for college. Talk to us about college.
Stressful.
Stressful. You just had
but
finals.
It was fun experience for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got away from home.
Yes.
Some freedom.
Oh my God, needed it. Needed it. Jesus.
Shout out to
I got
getting
a little
away
taste.
from home. Yes, a little taste of freedom. Now you're back, and we're gonna work and make sure you get back to freedom.
Yes.
The necessary.
Making
all
money
proud.
all summer.
While you're here today, you're gonna give us the current events. So let me know what's going on in the world as of right now.
So first off, have you guys heard of Kendrick Lamar's new album, Mr. Morrow and the Big Steppers? What do you guys think about it?
Heard about it. I haven't heard
I
it.
haven't
though.
heard
Have
it
you
yet.
It's
Like it?
supposed to be a
It is
really dope.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Blood. You heard both. I guess discs, right? Because it's a double disc.
Well, I didn't get into what side, each track of the tracks were, but I heard quite a few songs, and I'm just gonna tell you right now, it might be album of the year, and it might go as far as being kind of revolutionary because he got a lot of a lot of meaning behind the songs.
Would you go as far as giving it 5 mics right now, from what you've heard?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Ms.
so
Jamilah,
far.
you
Yeah,
said you heard the album as well.
A few songs too, and I agree.
Strong,
I agree.
strong.
It's very strong. Even what he uses to do his public relations, you can see just by the pictures where he's going with it.
Right. The way they marketed the album, first of all, it's very scarce marketing. Like, they didn't have a big rollout like you would expect for such a superstar album. They did very little actually to promote it, but the things they did were super creative. And I think we spoke about how it was interactive with the website and how you could kind of get certain songs released. So I think the fans had a lot of fun with that. And I think hip hop and social media is having a lot of fun with the album. Whether people have heard it or not, everybody's talking about it. And it's funny because, social media is funny, first of all.
Fact.
And as we were talking before the show, there's a lot of haters. Yeah. So a lot of people will hate on the album, and then people will be like, all right, so you heard it? And they're like, no, I haven't heard it. But they'll be like, yo, but how can you hate on the album that you haven't even heard?
Premeditated.
So that's hilarious. And then the fans are hilarious because Kendrick fans, God bless them, Kendrick,
They're die hard.
Yeah, and they praise Kendrick like to God level. So, an album that, let's just say this album was not great, and it was average or below average. They would still big it up.
His
like,
fans would not allow
They'd
it.
be like, no, this is genius. You just don't understand it. You don't get it. But I've actually.
You know what's funny?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned that. We were talking about. I think it was the last episode about him being praised as like GOAT status, right?
Right.
And I was like, no, it's still too early, but I can see it now. Like on this album, I can see it. I can see why the people, the younger generation, classify him as a GOAT already when I didn't before. And it's just funny because it's just this album is that crazy, man. And I really like the one before, Damn, but just the buzz around this one and the songs, like I said, that I've heard. Like he got this song. I don't know if you've heard it. It's pretty famous now, and he's talking through kind of through Nipsey, right? Like he's talking about
that's the heart part 5.
Yeah, the heart part 5, and he's talking about like him dying for a reason, but he's rapping kind of as Nipsey.
Right.
Yo, shit is just crazy to me, man.
And then he, I believe he has a song on there, my dear aunt or something, where he talks about his aunt, kind of becoming a man, going through the transgender process, and his not understanding and then his understanding of it, like kind of how he went through it along with his aunt.
Yeah, crazy, bro.
And then he's got another song where he's like arguing with his baby mom, and
I
they're
need
kind
to
of back
tap
and forth.
in with Kendrick. No, I really do. I like him. I respect him. I like his music. J. Cole, he's someone else that I love. A lot of the younger people, they don't understand lyrics,
right? And the importance
of it is different. We could have a whole another show about that. The music business versus music entertainment.
Big time.
Big time. There was like a TikTok or something that our page put up about the difference between 90s rap and today's rap. And it's funny because the young kids like they get very offended. So they be like, "Oh, just don't listen to the new shit then," or "Oh, y'all old heads be hating on the new shit." Like
that shit kind of went mini viral, right?
Yeah, but it's funny, like, and that's what I love, though. That's what I love about the young generation, that they're very strong into their beliefs. So very no matter what they believe, no matter what they believe, whether we agree with it or not, like, they're gonna fucking fight for it. Right. And I love that shit. I wish we were a little more like that. But shout out to Kendrick, his last album on Top Dog Entertainment. Shout out to Top Dog. Shout out to Punch. It's projected to do big numbers, #1 album. And a lot of people are saying it's that album. So everybody go check it out. It's on all your DSPs right now. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. What else you got, Ash?
I got Drake's new deal, $400 million.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Music group.
Started from the bottom, now
$400 million.
A lot of money. Oh my god.
Jeez. Wow. Drake, my twin brother. What's up?
Your twin?
Yeah. Put me on. I'm knocking,
need a Ghost Rider?
Yo, I'm knocking fake Drake in Miami out the box. That's it. I need some of that $400 million for real. Drake, though, is an artist that's worth $400 million, right? Absolutely. So if the label gave him $400 million, and it's probably a 360 deal, that means they're going to eat off his touring, they're going to eat off his merchandise, they're going to eat off whatever business or dollar that he makes. So imagine what they believe his actual worth is to have given him $400 million. They got to think he's like $1 billion artist.
$1 billion man. Word up.
Yeah. And
it's the same shit that Jay-Z did.
Right. And I mean, look, that was a smart bet with Jay-Z, you know, because he fucking lived up to it.
Yeah.
So I think Drake will be okay.
For this one.
Yeah. Cut the check, brother Drake. You don't need a podcast partners. You don't need a social media helper over
what
here.
You need?
Drake, the whole team.
A blunt roller.
We'll go to Canada. I'll go to Canada quick. I'm out of the U.S.
Ashley, you coming?
Hell yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, Ash loves Drake. Shout out to her future husband, Drake.
My God, I think I at least one of these concerts. That's my goal in life.
True that. Oh, there you go. That's a fair goal.
That's
he should be touring soon. He got when did he drop the album? The last album. Oh, CLB. Yeah, he should be touring that shit soon. And he got the Nikes. Shout out to that. His new Nikes out. Shout out to Drake, man. He's everywhere, bro.
Working.
Jeez Louise. Move on. Talk to me about somebody else, because me and Drake
are you hating?
My twin don't hit me up. Yeah, sheesh.
Well, there's also Remy Ma. She just got a street named after her.
Oh, yeah. Remy Ma. Shout out to the ladies.
Wow. Big time.
Exactly. Y'all doing it today, man. This episode is dedicated to all the ladies out there, all the roses, everybody trying to come up, all my ladies doing their entrepreneurial thing, their business thing, their school thing, their hustle thing, their mom thing, working 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, going to school, whatever you got to do. Shout out as always to the teachers. Shout out to the strippers. Shout out to the flight attendants, the bartenders. Big up to the women. Word up. Shout out to Remy Ma. Getting a street named after her while she's still alive is awesome.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad you said that.
Exactly.
Like, giving people their flowers and praising them and their work and just, being humble enough to see these things while you're living and not waiting for the person to be gone to say, oh, here's your street sign.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'm watching it from heaven.
Right. It's unfortunate that most times they're given that, post life, but she got it off in life. She also recently launched a female battle rap league. Independent, she owns it, so shout out to that. That's a big thing. Shout out to all the female battle rappers out there doing their thing. Shout out to the brother Cortez, Brooklyn. He went up yesterday. Well, it was last week, but they uploaded the video yesterday. Sue Surf versus Cortez. So shout out to the brother Cortez. Shout out to the brother Sue Surf too. You know the brother Cortez?
Yeah, I admire him. Have so much respect for him. He's super cool. Latino.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Brooklyn bound. And we correspond a lot. We actually are discussing a project.
Good. We look forward to hearing about that. Definitely big shout out to the brother Cortez. He always shows the show love. And now that he battled Sue Surf, where's the camera? Now that you done battled Sue Surf, you know the real king of New Jersey's waiting for his battle. So let me know. I've been writing my bars. I've been practicing. So Core, the challenge is up. Summertime is lit. Come through. Blood got my back, right, Blood?
Word up, always.
And he's so cool. He talks to everybody.
Absolutely.
He responds, and he wants to see people win.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between him and many artists who are established.
Yep.
He came from the mud, as they would say, so he knows what it is to grind.
Yep.
And he's been on it. He has not removed his foot off that gas.
And this last year has been an awesome year for the brother Cortez with the albums, Resolutions 1 and 2. He had worked with the brother Method Man, worked with the brother Crisis. Shout out to the brother Crisis. Worked with the brother Shout out to that. Shout out to Yobi as well. Make sure y'all go check out those albums, Resolutions 1 and Resolutions 2 on all DSPs right now. The brother Cortez. Shout out to him. Shout out to Smack. Shout out to Remy and her Battle League and her street name. And to all the ladies. And what else you got?
Well, the last thing I got is the mass shooting in Buffalo, New York. R.I.P. to them.
Rest in peace to all the victims of the mass shooting in Buffalo. Unfortunate event. Tragedy, actually. It wasn't an accident, bro. It was planned. It was detailed, you know, and the murderer, the terrorist, was apprehended, and he's saying he's not guilty, which is bullshit, obviously, but
how is he not guilty if he was streaming it live, shooting people with an AR? Come on, man.
The fact
Yo,
that
they should stop at nothing but capital punishment for this motherfucker. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, totally agree, man.
And it's kind of like piggybacking what you said. The young people, this is when they need to step up because they do use their voice. You know, the youth, voice choice. You guys go out there and empower each other. This is now the platform, and another opportunity to do so, because you guys are the ones that are going to help execute these new laws. That's important.
And we do need to get these new laws into effect because unfortunately the judicial system seems to favor a certain brand of killer, and them old ways just got to change, man. This is just a repetitive cycle. This seems to happen every few months with mass shootings, racially inspired, and
we need more people like us at the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they're making these laws.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ashley?
Got it.
Shout out to Ash. Thank you for the current events. Rest in peace to all the people in Buffalo, all the families, all the friends, anyone suffering from this tragedy, anyone who unfortunately saw the live stream. You shouldn't be seeing violence like that. It shouldn't be occurring. Boo this man to the murderer. And hopefully justice will be served. On that tip of new laws and new shifts in power, let's say, you were out campaigning this morning.
Sure was.
In the heat, because it is hot. It's not 95, Blood, but it's warm up here.
Yeah. Like 70.
And you were out there campaigning in Brooklyn?
In Brooklyn.
For
Hercules Reed. And we definitely were knocking on doors, giving literature out, explaining to people why it's important to have people that look like us in the office in Albany so that we can change the narrative.
Absolutely.
And part of what I want to do too, next go around, I'm going to be running for city council.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank you.
And that'll be the next go around, meaning next year or like in the fall?
Probably a year and a half from now, but I'll start preparing next year.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I'm learning a lot through this campaign. So
right.
Even though I'm definitely, I call myself a justice leader, I'm learning a lot because there's so many details. I joke with him all the time. I'm like, you politicians are like rappers.
Yeah.
It's nothing different, you know?
Yeah.
The only thing y'all shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah.
You know, and the rappers are touching the strippers. That's the only difference. But the common ground is you have to capture an audience.
Right. You have to be charismatic.
And
people
gotta
look
follow good.
You, yeah?
People gotta follow you and believe in what you're selling. Believe in your vision. And with Hercules, I believe that he's going to execute for his district.
And his election is when?
So we made it to special elections, which means that he's in the ballot now for May 24th. So
23rd.
now we had to like go out there and educate the voters. Like there's
Right.
special elections and then there's primary because people don't know.
Right.
They're like, what? Special primary? They get confused.
Mhm.
So it was up to us to go out there and say, no, if you want Hercules, you can vote for him now.
Right.
And once they put in the vote now, we have a better chance in winning the primary.
Right. Good luck.
Thank you.
So that's
Yes.
Brooklyn. Everybody, make sure you come out, go out, make sure you're registered to vote, make sure you get your vote on. Reach out to Miss Jamilah at Epiphany Amor if you need any more information. Reach out to the brother Hercules. Best of luck to him. Best of luck to y'all. You assisting him and eventually graduating into your own political stance. That's something that kind of falls in line with what you've been doing as far as community work and being a social justice leader, your motivational speaking. Where does that desire come from? Where does that drive come from?
So I wasn't born and raised in the projects. I moved there when I was about like 12 from East New York, Brooklyn. You know, I come from a large Hispanic family. My dad is Arabic, but I grew up mostly with my Hispanic family, boys.
Okay.
So we always played outside. We played on the dirty mattresses. I climbed trees. I did all that. And from a young age, I used to get in trouble all the time. Like, tú eres nena, súbete pa' arriba. And I'm like, no, I'm playing with the boys. Leave me alone. I didn't get into like that real girly stage until late 20s. But for me, growing up, I had everything. At least in my eyes, I did. I never went hungry. I always had my own room. But I have friends that didn't. And I remember, I think I was about like 7 or 8. I gave my shoes away to someone in the class. And from that moment, I understood like, okay, I'm different.
Mm-hmm.
What that different is, I don't know yet. But I know I'm not the average 7, 8-year-old who's giving away her stuff, especially as an only child who has everything. And normally they say, you're selfish when you're an only child. But I didn't have not one selfish bone in me. And at that moment I said, why would I want to give away my shoes? And I realized it was bigger. It was a calling.
Right.
So helping kids and being in a community, it's always been a passion, but so has music and fashion. So what I did was learn to merge my love for both and execute it in a fundamental way where I'm teaching young people about the music business, about the fashion business, from our, zip codes and area codes and our backgrounds, and giving them an opportunity to be here like you, Ashley. There's probably 10, 15 kids right now watching that don't even know what a studio room looks like. And even a family, having a mother or a dad, people to talk to. And you don't realize these things until you get older, that you are blessed. Regardless of how many times you eat a day, you're eating when there's people that are not.
Absolutely.
So it's always been like a calling. And although my life would always shift me back to a different area, I will always come back to community bounds.
Right.
So
And that's how it should be.
yeah.
Now, I read that you were raised in a household where excuses were not accepted. Was that both parents that were strict?
Very much so. But I would say my mom was like mother, father, more than like my dad, because she was the one in the house. Even though she worked and she moved around, they split when I was young.
Okay.
And there's definitely a culture difference. Like I asked them when I got older, I'm like, well, how did you meet this Arab guy? Like, who's my dad? Like, how did that happen? She was like, well, I met him in the corner store. I'm like, oh, go figure. She's like, I met him, I fell in love, and you came. So the cultures are very different, but very similar at the same time, where they both, being in the Hispanic family, Italian family is very much similar too. That education and excuses we're not having it. You got to get up, get to school, get to work. And that has always been a part of me. I used to get hit. She's going to be like, you telling people I hit you? I remember one time it was like a snowstorm, and I was so like driven and passionate about school. And she was like, oh, there's no school today. I was probably like 9. I was like, take me to school. She was like, no hay escuela. Like, acuérdate, that's it. It's done. And I was like, no, I want to go to school. I got hit because I wanted to go to school. That's how it was. Like,
that's how committed you
that's
were.
how I committed. And then I tell her all the time, you put that commitment.
Mm-hmm.
You make sure that I did not sleep on anything that I could achieve. So she's like, there's no excuses here. You have to clean, you have to go to school, you have to fend for yourself. Because as a woman, no matter how beautiful you think you are, you could be in a room with 20 other beauties. What do you have to offer?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, that's big facts.
and I always say that to the young girls that I work with. I'm like, you have to be confident that you could be in a room full of so many beautiful women and know that you still offer something. And it's not cocky, it's confident.
Message.
I'm not conceited, right, Remy?
That's true.
Absolutely. And that's a powerful message to all the young ladies,
Yeah.
that need to hear that. Now, you followed through with your education. You kept that drive for school going, even achieving an MBA in marketing, correct?
Yes.
Is that was that something that you caught like that bug early, marketing, as far as knowing how to basically push a product?
That's a great question. No. How that happened, I was on a 3 line. I think I was going to the East, projects, Linden houses, come from school, and I must have had a dope outfit on. And this guy, he kept looking at me, and I'm like, okay, why does this guy keep looking at me? I'm like, all right, let me pretend like I got a knife or something, because I'm thinking, it's late night. It's just me, probably a few other people in the car, but he's staring. So he gets close, and I'm like, what happened? Put that real Brooklyn, what happened? He's like, no, I just want to say you look nice. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And he's like, oh, you're a stylist? And I'm like, what is that? Like, I really didn't know. I was like, what do you mean style? Yeah,
right.
I put my own clothes on. He's like, no, what you're doing for yourself is called styling. And then from that moment, I understood what was styling, and then the marketing came in.
Right.
Because the more I wore my own type of style, more people gravitated. And I said, okay, well, this is my marketing niche. I need to make sure that I look good, because I don't know who I'm going to encounter. And then I can put in my marketing and spare myself the whole trying to look for people to help me, when I could just be the brand of myself, a walking brand.
Yeah, and attract the company.
Exactly. And that's how that happened. And it happened with the accessories that way. I was wearing a pair of earrings that I made. Loving Hip Hop. Someone from Loving Hip Hop was like, yo, you want to style for us? At that point, then I knew what styling was. I was like, well, I made these. How do I incorporate myself into these ventures? And that's how that came. And then the MBA, that was kind of by mistake. I'm going to be honest with you guys, because what I wanted to go to school for, I said, I'll do my master's in social work.
Right.
And then I went to the school, and it was like, well, we're not open to next year. And I was so adamant. I don't know what happened. It was a few years went by, and I was so adamant to get back to school. And I said, well, what do you have? So he looks at me, he goes, what do you mean what I have? This is a whole university. What do you want to study? I said, look, mister, what do you have? Because now I'm frustrated, because what I really went for, it was close to the next year. He goes, what do you like? I said, well, I like business. I like marketing. He's like, all right, the MBA department is open. I said, please guide me there. Went there, enrolled, and I got my MBA.
Nice. Congratulations.
Wow. That is admirable. Because for me, it was the opposite. I was getting spanked because I didn't want to go to school. You know what I'm saying?
Especially in a snowstorm.
You know what I mean? For real. When it was snowing outside, we was happy.
Yo,
but no, that's so admirable, because you could have easily just, been like, all right, well, I'll wait, and then probably not go back. But the fact that you just force yourself, and the MBA is so much more important, in my opinion, than getting a master's in social work, which, that's very respectable. Don't get me wrong. But an MBA, when you say you have an MBA to people, it's no small feat. I'm just going to let you know.
But you still did continue studying the social work.
I did.
Did you degree out in that as
I don't have it yet. I'm almost done.
Right.
But how I did it was working through the non-for-profit sector.
Nice.
So I put in a lot of years in the non-for-profit world. And I love what you said when you said I probably would have never went back.
Right.
Because I think that was the push. That was the, some years went by, and I tell people all the time, years, time we create, because in the spiritual world, and I'm very spiritual, there's no time, there's just life, and you just go for what you want. But at that particular mindset that I was in. I was like, yo, I'm getting older. I want to accomplish these things. And people were saying, well, you got so much going on already. Why you keep putting things on top of, you piling. And when people say that to me, it's like you're daring me.
Like challenge.
Yeah, I want the challenge. Like, all right, I'm up for it. Let's go. And it was a combination of, if I don't go now, I may not go back.
Right.
Life makes you make these decisions. And of course, when you get older and you paying bills and you move it around, you don't have that type of freedom. Right. To say, oh, I want to wake up today and just do this. But I put my mindset to like, no, I'm going to enroll and let be. See what happens.
And push through.
Worst case scenario, I owe $100,000 to school, which is what's happening now.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Hopefully your Biden don't knock that out. We got our fingers crossed.
Right, okay, thank you.
Yeah, Big Papa Joe, hook it up for real.
Facts.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ash, you're studying marketing as well?
Yeah, I am. Nice. My major is business administration, but my concentration is in marketing.
Okay,
nice.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
What was my concentration? Go, girl. Concrete roads.
Yeah, so as you can see, the degrees are achievable, so make that happen. Along with the degrees, well, let's go to something you did recently, which is very interesting. You became an ordained minister recently.
Yeah.
What led to that? Because that's not that's actually pretty cool, because you can marry people now. But I don't know. I don't see that as something that you just wake up and be like, today I'm going to go.
I want to go marry somebody.
Yeah, it's so random.
Did someone ask you, like, hey, marry us and to do that?
Moved. No, it's funny because, with social work, I have my bachelor's in social work. I've done group therapy with families, one-on-one therapy, friends, of course, right? We always giving our friends therapy, family. And being in that field for so many years, I will always encounter, like, couples. Like, yo, we want to talk. It's like, it's a lot of people out here that need to vent, that are in relationships, some by choice, obligation, finances,
Children.
Kids. It's always a leap of different reasons why people stay together. But are people still together because of love? Are we marrying just because we feel like we have to? We want our green cards, whatever the case may be. So this one particular couple, friends of mine, I was talking with them, and they're like, we're going to get married, but we want counseling. Next thing you know, I'm like sitting there giving these people counseling. I'm like, wow. They're like, well, you love God, and you're always talking about God, and you talk to people, you go to church, you motivate. So won't you marry us? And I was like, I could do that. I was like, hold on, give me a day or two. I researched it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to become an ordained minister. And that's how that happened.
And how long was the process?
About 3 months.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. Because I had a lot of experience already in counseling. So, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm marrying people now.
Congratulations to that. Have you married anyone?
I have not. I have a wedding coming up in June.
That's awesome.
Couple.
Yeah, look at that. Good
they
for them.
They don't wake up before June. I get a meal.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for love, y'all. Fingers crossed for love.
Fingers crossed for the women that's still saying, do you want to eat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Shout out to that.
Okay. I'm curious as to what you're going to wear, because I've seen like pictures of you. And like, I don't know if you're going to wear like, like Arabic garb, or maybe like, like a suit, like a priest. What are you going to wear?
Yo, it's so funny you say that, because Hercules just yesterday, we met we went to a gala the day before yesterday, and he's like, yo, I got to go get more suits or something. I'm like, why? He's like, yo, I don't know what you're going to wear. Like, you always topping the top, you come with the creme de la creme. I need to like show out. So I don't know. With me, it's pretty much how I feel for the day. Nice. And kind of like where I'm gonna go, that definitely plays some part. But I think I'll go with my Arabic garments.
There
Yeah,
you go.
you're right. See?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing his research
Yes,
too.
sir.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
And brother Hercules, you don't have to compete with Jamilah. Let her shine because you with her. You there with her. So you shine by association.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We're a team.
Absolutely. Now, if there's a couple out there that is struggling to communicate or
Right.
to get the love back or to keep the love, or if they just need someone to listen, are you available? Can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. I think that we need to bring back, and I'm not a feminist. I do believe in women empowerment, but I also believe as a mother of a son that sometimes our men are disregarded in many rooms, in many situations, and we need to bring that back where you guys matter. How you feel matters. It's not all about the women and what we feel is important, but what do we feel as a unit? Because I think we live in a society that people forget men have feelings.
Yes.
I don't know if this is
True.
like the whole bad bitch syndrome. I don't know what's going
It's a shift between men and women, and it's actually really sad that a lot of men go through like emotional distress and they
Yeah.
feel very alone, and obviously that leads to the male suicide rate being so high and the majority of suicides being men.
It's a lot. It's a lot of pressure that comes.
And they
with
feel they
being a
can't talk
husband.
to anybody, and they feel as if they do talk to anybody, no one's gonna listen anyway, or
Right.
it's like, buck up, man up, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, you're not supposed to be crying. You're a man. So that's not true. And with a lot of the work that I do help, both genders. I love women. I love men. I believe that one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. We need to work together. But my core is definitely going to be to help single dads,
Right.
to help men that are coming out of being incarcerated, need second chances. The whole expungement program is important because these things do linger on your records, and you need a fresh start. And it's not, here's some food stamps and a Metro card, make it happen, but resources to get you through. So my core, no disrespect, I love our women empowerment, but I'm definitely gonna fight for the men.
Yes. And as I was reading, you're very involved with the jail reform
Yes.
and with the expungement program. Now, have you seen an increase in requests for expungement now with the weed becoming legal?
Absolutely. And it's so many intricate details with that, because we still are, the individuals that are not receiving this first. We're still at the bottom.
Right.
So it's like, how do we now push our way through the top when we was the people getting fined and going
Right.
to jail?
We were at the top of the list to get
To
locked
get
up,
locked up.
but not to get freed up. No, them different lists.
Listen, that's the greatest way you could ever put it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So you're out
No,
there
it's an
fighting
agenda,
for the brothers
man.
and sisters.
Yeah. We need we need to like up the list. Why are we at the bottom? We weren't at the bottom when we were getting arrested.
No, absolutely not. Let me ask you something. With the resources that you spoke about for brothers and sisters that get released, have you noticed that it's very difficult for them to adapt to today's society with like technology and like even an iPhone, for example, depending how long they've been in, even if you've been in like, let's say 10 years, it's a different world from 10 years ago.
It sure is.
Are they having difficulty adapting, and are you guys providing programs like that, like how to use an iPhone, or how to build your LinkedIn or your resume and stuff like that?
I'm so glad you said that, because we often drift away from that because we assume that technology is for everybody. I still don't know half the things on my phone.
Right.
And I'm out here in these streets. I'm working day to day. Imagine someone, like you said, that's been put away for so many years, and now you're adapting not only to technology but to people, to society, to what's the new norm, to what you are accustomed to. All of that plays an importance, and I definitely want to put trade school back in, because education is important and it's the key, but it's not for everyone. People learn differently, and people need outlets and resources on how to. Entrepreneurship is huge. Carpenters, engineers, electricians. Us here, podcasts, different things. We come from a range of people that know so much, but the resources are not given to us.
Right.
You know, and that's what I want to do. We as Hercules, myself, and our team, we want to make sure that we bring those things back to our community.
Yes, please.
And money and grants.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's grants all over. When I first wrote my first grant, I was just playing with it. I was like, oh, let me see, da-da-da-da. Boom. Submitted it. 2 days later, oh, congratulations, $20,000. I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. So,
Okay.
cut this
That's
from the
amazing.
record. We gonna need some grants over here.
Yeah, listen.
Big
Please.
time. We need grants like Horace over here.
There's a grant for everything. We just, again, we are a community that we don't know.
Yeah, we're not given the information,
Right.
And there's a lot of money out there, kind of like in the air. And if you don't know, you don't get it.
don't
And
get
those
it.
that know get it, but don't share it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So definitely, let's connect that.
Yeah.
For sure.
it's a lot of
But
grants.
shout out to you for putting that information out there. So if there are other college students out there who are listening or watching and they need help with a grant, they can reach out and get some
Absolutely.
assistance. Now, is that only Brooklyn based
No.
or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. So
Okay.
I wrote and helped individuals in Flint, Michigan, Puerto Rico, DR, Mexico, Salvador, anywhere. There's no limits.
Right.
You know, because I always say where there's a will, there's a way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how you word things and how you put things together.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that I work with, don't worry, we gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, connections, network, who you know.
Yes.
And you will learn that, Ash. Like, as you go, it's like not so much. It's great to be smart, but communication is not just what you say; it's how you listen.
Mm-hmm.
And people, they listen to how well you observing and how you say that. My English is starting to mess up. The Spanish is kicking in like a sponge. You know.
Yeah. The way you soak up information.
You know, that's what happens when you go to
Absolutely.
Puerto Rico and you spend a week with your family or be that
Yes.
there.
Shout out to the island.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
Yeah.
motherland.
Be like,
All my
"¿Qué
Puerto
pasó? What
Ricans.
happened?"
Yeah.
For real, you start messing shit up.
Listen, but yeah, it's all about how you taking information to and how you put that together. It's like a puzzle, and people see that.
And like you said, the importance of networking. Build a
Network.
network so that you know people here and you know people there. And if you need this information or you need a specialist for this, you reach out to this person. Or if you need this person does this. And, eventually you'll get to the point that people are reaching out to you like, hey, I'm trying to do this. You know somebody that can help me? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to plug you in with this guy. Boom. And now you're helping build more networks. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing, man. Shout out to that. And to my brothers out there.
Word.
I've said this on the show before, but I'm going to repeat myself. A wise man named Dame Dash once said, surround yourself with beautiful, intelligent women, and you're bound to succeed. So make sure you're surrounded by women who know what they're doing. They're hungry. They want the business. They got the knowledge. And, you really probably won't fail. If you fail, it's because you're not focused. But
Right.
shout out to that. Shout out to the ladies.
I say this: men have power, women have control.
There
Message.
you go. That makes
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
Men have the power and we have the control because we are the head.
Yeah.
So we have to help navigate, the men and how brilliant they are. We have to work together, and we could episode 111. We could come back
Yes,
and talk
the
about
men
how,
and women,
right,
the dynamics.
the dynamics and how culture has split that dynamic up
Yeah.
because it was done intentional. They had to break us up because we're powerful when we're a unit.
But the beautiful thing now that I'm noticing, and I think technology is helping this, is that now society can't control us like they once did.
Exactly.
So there's a statistic that says that we currently have the highest amount of children being raised in two-parent homes
It's beautiful.
in 30 or 40 years. So, the black and the Latino family unit is back at a higher rate than it's ever been. And it's beautiful because, they don't want that. They, like you said, we're at our strongest when we're united.
Absolutely.
And, the powers that be, whoever they may be, Illuminati, the white folk, KKK, the U.S. government, they're all on the same boat or whatever. But we're now able to fight back, through these networks and through these connections and through using social media and these programs such as the ones that you're offering to rebuild that family structure and rebuild the village structure.
Exactly.
Where, if you see my seed acting up, you're gonna, correct it.
Can we talk about that?
We gotta bring that back.
Can we just talk about that? I know we have a list of stuff, but just 1 minute of that. Like, what happened to that? What happened to
the separatism?
Yeah.
The society, like you said, the units were disrupted, and everybody became kind of their own tribe instead of being a bigger tribe.
Even in the school system, like I'm totally.
But when that happened was in the crack era.
There you go.
Because before that, everybody was together. Everybody was living in harmony, more or less. Watching out for each other. But once crack came in, like, I can't watch out for you if you trying to kill me or trying to rob me or whatever. So a lot of kids got left abandoned and
had to fend for themselves. Yeah. But even now, like with teachers, I'm not for a teacher putting their hands on her, on a student. However, they were able
discipline
to say
needs
something.
To be yeah.
Now you can't say anything.
It's everything crazy. Is soft now.
Yeah, too soft for me. Exactly. I don't know, maybe because I grew up with a bunch of boys. I don't get it, but
no, it's a different world, man. It's a different society. Everybody's hypersensitive. You can't be offensive. You can't be too honest. You can't really have an opinion.
Can you imagine me as a publicist, what I have to deal with, knowing these things, and I break the rules all the time. Ashley, I'm like, oh, you sensitive? Oh, okay, moving right along. Like, we're here to do business, and yes, your feelings matter. But if your feelings are going to matter in everything that we do, we don't need to do business. Exactly. We have to learn to separate the two.
Exactly. And it must be hard for, like, if you're a publicist for, like, a young artist or, like, a little bit of a wild artist that's going to say some wild shit. Like, how do you even try to control that? Because it's hard to clean it up once it's out. And back in the day, you could say something crazy and it might not come out as quickly. But now everything is so instant.
Say it, it's there.
Yeah, and they screenshot it. So even if you're like, nah, I ain't say that.
Like, no, you didn't.
Somebody got it.
Camera. I tell all people, clients, friends, family, we don't live in a private world. Which means, like, just because this is your phone, doesn't mean it's your phone. Your privacy is already invaded once you have a cell phone, and we live in a world where everybody does. And if you don't, he does, he doesn't, I do. Be mindful of what you say, be mindful of what you write, which is why a lot of our people get incarcerated. It's not so much what you do, it's what you're writing. You have an argument with your boyfriend, I'm gonna kill you. Next day the dude that shows up dead, they think it's you because of a text message that you wrote. So you just have to be very careful. And so, like you said, we live in a world where it's like everybody's sensitive to things. So be mindful of what you say and how you say it. And I just write everything down to like, I had this conversation with this person.
And to the brothers and sisters who are doing the illegal activities and who are out there in the streets getting their money, like, make sure y'all move smarter, man. I don't promote crime, and I wish y'all wasn't out there in the first place. But if you're gonna be out there doing dirt, move smarter, stay off the socials, stay off the phone, stop texting each other like, yeah, we did it, homie, like, field goal. Nah, man, that's murder.
There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, jeez. But back to the fashion. You also went to FIT.
Fashion, yeah.
I believe you did graduate from FIT, right?
I got a certificate.
KFIT.
Shout out to that.
I got family that went there.
Nice.
Yeah, my cousin graduated from there.
Absolutely. Was that something you were like into from a young age, fashion? Yes. And who got you into that? Was it mom? Or was it Brooklyn? Because I swear Brooklyn, like, the fashion is always dope from Brooklyn.
I appreciate that. I always say Brooklyn. When you from Brooklyn and you travel somewhere else and people say, where you from? We say Brooklyn. We don't say New York.
Right.
We be like, oh, Brooklyn. Well, Brooklyn is not a state. It's a city. So technically New York. But I think it's definitely like Brooklyn swag and just putting my own things together. I've always had an eye for fashion. And again, I didn't understand what it was. It was just my own sense of style.
Right.
Growing up, with a dad who's Yemenis and a mom who's Puerto Rican, there's definitely stipulations on what you can wear that was not ladylike, which, oh, that's not appropriate. You gotta wear a bra and all kind of stuff. And as I got older, I started changing my own style and not going against what they said, but implementing what I learned and putting my own swag to it.
Right.
I've always been highly involved with colors. I love colors, so the fashion came easy.
And then, when did you begin designing your own stuff?
I started designing my own stuff from very young. I think I was probably like 16.
Mm-hmm.
Started making stuff for myself, some of my friends, and then it became a business.
Were you self-taught?
Yeah. I do have a grandmother that sews, and my aunt that passed away, she was a seamstress, but I didn't learn from them. I just was like, I'm going to just, do this on my own, and I kind of just learned as I went.
And do you continue to do it now?
I do.
And
not as much as I want to, but I do.
But what brand does that fall under? Under the Epiphany Amor?
Epiphany Amor. So it started as an accessory. I'll tell you a quick story. Young mom, I had my son at a very young age. Became a single mom. His dad was there. We moved to the projects. I did what I had to do. I worked hard for my son. I always taught, and I tell him to this day, I used to strap you in the coche on my chest, drop you to your grandmother's, and keep it pushing, keep working, keep going to school.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely my inspiration, my motivation, my reason for wanting to get more. This particular job, it was with Olivia, some people from Love and Hip Hop. I had like $300. I had made something. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do guerrilla marketing. I'm going to do my own PR. I'm helping everybody. I'm getting a little bit of cash here and there. Let me execute my own line. I think I had like maybe $2,000-$3,000. I bought a bunch of different things, put some pieces together. They loved it. I get a call from Olivia. No, not from Olivia, from her manager then. He's like, hey, you're dope. Can you bring some pieces to her like in 2 days? So I was like, yeah. I wasn't going to say no.
Right.
I had $300 left. I took those $300. I made some more stuff. Met up with them. She loved it. We jonesed in the cab. We talked. We took pictures. And I always bring that story up because she was one of the celebrities that I met that was super cool. It's like she understood the struggle without me having to say anything, And then when I left her, I kid you not, and I spoke in the school just last week because I do that often. I go to different schools, I tour, and I said to them, I left with $2 because I took a cab there. I had $2. I bought a coffee cake and a coffee, and I walked home from downtown Brooklyn to East New York. That's more than 2 hours of walking. And I cried for the most part, but it wasn't because I was sad that I had to walk. I felt accomplished. I walked, but I was walking with purpose. I knew what my mission was prior to getting there. I was like, as long as I got $2 to give me something to drink, something to bite on, I'm good. The next day, she sent me pictures. And that landed me an opportunity to get my stuff in Patricia Field's store, which then landed me an opportunity to have Nikki wear my stuff.
Wow,
So,
congratulations.
I was like, thank you. I was like, you know what? You have to, your test is your testimony. And true, I had $2 and I came home and I was like, what is going to happen now? I got $2. Okay, I got food in my fridge. My son is good. Let's see what the results is. Worst case scenario, she takes my stuff, doesn't wear it, doesn't send me pictures. Best case scenario, she keeps her word as a woman, and she did.
And shout out to that. Shout out to Olivia. And shout out to the Queen Barb, Ms. Nicki Minaj. And I also read that Beyonce wore some of your shades.
She did. That was fun. I bogarted that whole situation.
Good.
Literally,
as you should. Sometimes
you have to do it.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, Ashley. So if you don't take anything from me, guerrilla marketing. Jay-Z was having his book signing. Forgot the name of the book.
Decoded, I think it was.
Yes. Yeah. In Brooklyn Museum. I was like,
shout out to the Brooklyn Museum.
Shout out to I love them.
Such a beautiful
I'm
place,
always there all the time. They have great exhibits. So I was like, all right, cool. If he's gonna be there, I need to give him some music. because I write music. And if she's going to be there, I need to give her something. So what I did, I made her a pair of shades. And inside the box of shades, I threw an MP3 with different songs on it.
Right.
And then I wrote, it was a dude I was working with. So it was both of us, collaboration with the songs. I wrote a note and I said, copy written, so don't copy me. But here's my number. Won't you just call me? Then I put for work, you know? And I put my email, I put my phone number, I had no business cards. Somebody actually threw it up there. Some dude that's like a big fan of hers and he threw it up and my son was like, that's my mom, because it came up a few years later. So during his Q&A, I made sure like I stood out. I was wearing like gaudy jewelry, blonde hair. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go real cute, classy but cute. There was like, any questions? I raised my hand. I was like, yeah, get online. So when it was my turn, everybody was asking the regular questions. I was like, I bet I know how I'm gonna spin this. So when I got on the mic, he was like, hey, I was like, hi, my name's Jamilah. You're very inspirational. I'm from Brooklyn. He was like, thank you. I was like, well, I don't have a question, but I want to give you something. So can you meet me halfway and come and get it? Everybody starts laughing. He goes, great question. Yeah. So he tells me to come up. I met him at the stage and he whispers, he was like, I like your marketing technique. I was like, here you go. She wore the shades.
And that was Jay-Z?
That was Jay-Z.
The God himself, the GOAT, the best out of Brooklyn.
Everybody was looking like, yo, did she really just do that?
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Thank you. I was like, yes, I can either say, hey, what inspired you? And then sit my ass down, or I can find a way
to get your product in their hands. Yeah.
I was like, yo, worst case scenario again. The only thing he can do is show what she can do, toss the shades, not care. He doesn't listen to the music, or he does. And a couple of months later, there was some music that was used.
Nice. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Hustle.
And
yes,
one of the keys to selling and to marketing is to get your product into the customer's hands. They say that like that's 9/10 of the sale right there. Once it's in their hands, So to all my sellers out there, make sure you're getting that product into the customer's hands. Follow Jamilah's lead as far as marketing, because an opportunity like that is easy to miss. You know what I mean? And hard to take advantage of. And I bet you there was other people there with a similar plan that got too shook or were too shy and went home with their shades. You know what I mean?
Right.
So shout out to that, man. Shout out to being bold enough to push yourself. Yeah, because a lot of times people have great product or great ideas or great businesses, and they're so shy and scared to push themselves and to push their brand that they never end up succeeding. And the same thing for musicians. You can have a great song. You can have the best song, but if only we hear it, what good is it?
I always say that.
You gotta
I'm like,
get it
your
out
5
there.
friends.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Now, are you still doing music?
Yeah, I started writing again.
Do you also sing, or are you strictly a songwriter?
Just a writer.
Okay, and you've written for artists?
I have a lot. I did. So that's how I maintained myself, and how I made sure that I always have money in my pocket, writing songs, and it started from a poetry book.
Right. A Rebel in Heels?
Rebel in Heels.
When did you release that book?
So I didn't release it yet. What I did was share some chapters and some poetry. That book is being released August.
Shout out to that.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you know we will.
Okay.
Big up to that. But from there, you took it into the songwriting?
Yeah, my boy actually, he was like, let me see your book. And at the time, I was going through my breakup with my son's father. Just recently, I've come to terms with, and I'm like, yeah, I educate a lot of women. I speak to them about, how you shouldn't be treated. But oftentimes, the person behind the mic is going through so much, and they don't say it, and they don't know how to expose that, because it's like, you're the public figure. How dare you be going through something, right? So in most recent months, I came to terms like, yo, that was kind of abusive,
Right. You were being abused.
Yeah.
Without realizing.
Without realizing, I'm like, it's not physical, but it's things that were said.
Yeah. Verbal.
And that verbal, you know, that
and that
verbal,
emotional abuse.
Right. And I was like, yeah, that's what it was. And my poetry was my way out.
Right.
Because again, I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want my son to not be in a home with his mother and his father, and like be another Puerto Rican chick in the projects with, you know, this broken dynamic. And I was like, you know what? It's just gonna be that, because I can't be happy and love my son how I want to if I'm not happy and healthy for him.
Right.
So my poetry book was my release. So it was like a journal / poetry. And stick to I wish I still had the original book, and moving it got lost. But it had so much information. And this one poem, my boy was like, yo, that's a song. He was a producer at the time. He worked with Sony and a bunch of different people. I was like, nah, it's just poetry. He was like, come with me to the studio. I'm going to show you how we can turn your poetry into music.
Right.
And we did it. He did it. He showed me. And then I was like, from there, I just loved it. And I started ghostwriting, like pancakes, hotcakes, boom, boom, boom. Then it came to a point where I was like, all right, espérate. Everybody's making money and I'm making some change, but I'm not making my royalty.
Right.
And I started educating myself. So this business has been good, but not great to me until I started learning from myself what I can do to protect my well-being,
right,
my money, my investment, and the brand of me. Because we don't think of ourselves as a brand. We just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm Ashley. But no, Ashley is a whole brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the intellectual property has to be protected. So now you're more educated.
Yes.
And now that you're back into songwriting, you can make sure that you're protected and getting your just dues as far as royalties and album credits and song credits.
Yeah.
So shout out to that. We look forward to hearing more of that. Have you written anything that we would know of, like offhand? That can you speak of it, or as a ghostwriter?
Not yet, but at the end of this year, I can. And I'll just say this, that I love writing for men.
Okay.
Like, I write a lot of music for men, and a lot of the rap, that hardcore rap, I love that. Like,
and you write that?
Yeah, I transition. I become like your homeboy from the fourth floor. I don't know what gets in.
For real.
That's awesome, though.
You know, I become that person, and I think it's environment has taught me so much, and being with my older cousins and seeing how they moved and the breakdancing and just the love for the culture. So I transition, like I become so fierce as a woman when I'm writing, and then I become so thuggish as a man. When I finish the song, I'm like, yo, I wrote that? Like, wow. When was I in the lobby? When was I, chilling with the boys and playing dice? When did that happen?
No, that's awesome, though. Continue to do that.
Thank you.
And the music, was there anyone in particular who, like, when you were young, was putting you on to music?
Yeah, Prodigy.
Okay. The rapper Prodigy?
Wow.
Mr. Prodigy.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, him and his boy, who was his manager at the time, they, like, literally was like, you're dope. We're going to help you. Come rock with us. And I used to be in that studio often.
Wow, that's
writing
awesome.
Music and learning the fundamentals of it and the business aspects.
Right.
I applied for my ASCAP, so I'm on the ASCAP as a writer. And it was so much we had planned. But he was definitely someone who was out to look out and not to, like, take.
Right.
And you're in this business and radio and everything we do, we see it firsthand. And you guys interview, 110 episodes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Yo, listen, I could just imagine the people and the stories that come, the stories that come here and stay here. This is history. And I know it's not so much different than mine when it comes to the music. There's people that you put music and you put it in their hands thinking they're going to help you and they rob you.
A lot of the music industry is robbing and finessing.
And a lot of finessing.
And a lot of paperwork robbery. That's why it's important to learn.
Important.
Yeah, to learn your rights and your credits. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Along with doing music, you also have a history in doing radio.
Yeah.
So how'd you transition from music to radio, or was radio prior to music?
I love radio. It's like God has blessed me that most of the things that fell on my lap, it was like really not intentional. It was just I walked in and it just so happened. I went to, where was I? LIU Radio in Brooklyn. And I went to support someone else. And it was DJ Majestic. Shout out to him. Because he was the first person to put me on the radio and give me the opportunity. I went and I was sitting in the corner. I was in the cut. And he was looking. He was like, "Oh, you a part of the group?" And I was like, No. I'm just here. You know, I'm chilling. And he was like, say something on the mic. He was like, "You got a nice voice. Say something." I was like, No. It's just them. But then when I got on the mic and we started talking and it was flowing, he was like, yo, my callers, the people are out. You're pretty, you smart, you witty, you funny, you down to earth. And it just happened. So after the show, he was like, "You want to come back?" I was like, "You want to interview me?" He was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll interview you. But I mean as a host, as a co-host." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So it kind of went in with each other. It was like, it just so happened that while I'm helping artists with their music and I'm writing my own, I get presented with the radio opportunity.
And that was LIU? That was the university you were attending?
So this was before I started attending it.
Okay.
Yeah, I went, just to support them. And then maybe, I think 3-4 years later, I attended this school.
Nice. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess I'll come back. And I didn't realize how much I loved it. And I'm like, well, everybody says I talk a lot. I guess it works out.
Well, for radio, that's good.
Right.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
Now, is
And
that
that's Long Island University, am I right?
Yeah, Long Island University.
Yeah, for those that don't know, even though it's in Brooklyn, it's called Long Island University.
And shout out to them. Shout out to their radio team out there. Absolutely. Quick shout out to Goodfella Radio at Rutgers University. The brother Justin D Live, the brother QS, the brother Rich. They did their thing on radio as well. Now, is that something you continue to do?
I did. I did a show called Pillow Talk.
Okay.
With these two young ladies.
That sounds dope.
Yo, I'm telling you, I gotta sing out old episodes. It was fire. It was online, and we got a lot of great ratings. People was feeling it. We did Pillow Talk. After that, I did like another show was more like to news and the politics, and I incorporated the music. I was like, can I switch things up around here? They was like, how much you want to switch things up? I was like, music? You know, like, it's cool we want to talk about politics, but politics doesn't mean you have to be stush. You can play something, right?
Yeah.
So I did that. We incorporated that. And then
Smart.
I did AM, FM. But my love is podcast. My love is how we could talk now,
right,
without so many stipulations.
Right. The freedom of podcast.
The freedom of it. So I do have a show. We do it every Sunday. It's with iHeart.
Dope.
In connection with iHeart. I enjoy it.
What's it called?
Producer's Point of View.
Producer's Point of View.
Yeah.
And where can people listen to that?
So you guys follow
on iHeartRadio?
Yeah, on iHeartRadio as well as on my page.
Dope. Check that out. Make sure you're following Jamilah at Epiphany Amor. EPIPHANY Amor AMOR. Make sure you're following all her brands as well, like we said earlier. Pearls and Lipsticks, Power of Stilettos. And talk to me about From Projects to Profits. Is that still active today?
Yeah, so Projects to Profit is my whole tour that I have with NYCHA. So my new book is called Projects to Profit. And that's going to come out after, Rebels and Heels.
Okay.
So Projects to Profit basically talks about my life a little bit, my tribulations, but also gives women and men resources on how to make profit while being in the projects. The stigma, the myths that come from it. Like, I remember when I went on my date after I broke up with my son's father, and he was like, "Where you live?" I was like, "Oh no, you can just leave me over here." He was like, "No, where you where you live?" Because at that time, I don't know how you girls date now, but we were skeptical about giving people our address because, well, I don't know, this dude is crazy. 2, you cannot come to my hood because you may not make it out. But since you want to drop me off, cool. In the projects over here. He was like, oh, okay. So when he parks his car,
Uh-oh.
right, he parks his car, and I'm like, no, it's okay. And he's insistent, no, I walk you. I said, yo, it's okay. You see what's going on in that hallway? Like, I know everybody there. I'm good. You're not good.
Mm-hmm.
But he walked me, and that was the last time I saw him.
No shit.
Scared of Muhammad.
They made him disappear.
Right, he was like, nah, I'm not dealing with this project shit. But it comes with a lot of myths.
There is a stigma,
The
unfortunately.
stigmas, the stigmas that follow us, and the people are lazy and they're not gonna do anything with their lives. And I believe there's laziness in Beverly Hills, like there's laziness in the project. So my book and my tour is dedicated on how to bring in financial literacy. The whole, people say it's cliche, but the generational, gap, we need to bring back, our grandparents' way of living, and not disregarding that everything they believed in is foolish, and we need to be more modern, like what happened to modesty. So it's just combining knowledge and education and my own life story into this path. And my ultimate goal is making sure that once he gets in the office, Hercules, and I'm his right hand, one of his go-to, his publicist, the person that's been with him, that he remembers what we discussed, and he allows me to have, access to funding where we can give back to communities that can really need it the most, where we can empower trade and just give people startup money, because it's not the ideas, it's the capital.
Right. Yeah, that's often what's lacking. Yeah.
Look, these mics probably cause you guys the arm and a leg. It's the capital, and people don't have capital, and they don't know how to get it.
And all the programs that were in place before, such as music programs in schools or the trade programs that you spoke of, they've all slowly been removed, leaving less opportunity for those students or children or even adults in these areas. So I do hope that you guys are able to work together and to bring that back, because definitely these communities need that. Now, you stated from projects to profit being a tour, so you would go to the different housing projects and take them the information and the resources and push them in the right direction and stuff. All right.
So I started this tour 2019. It's something that's one thing that I'm struggling with myself now, and I'm like, it's not that I'm a perfectionist, but I like to sit on things, because so many things have happened to me with ideas, with money, and I'm more like, I'm using more logic. But in using logic, you don't want to lose the momentum.
Correct.
So for years, I would say like 2018, I had this idea. 2019, we went, let's execute it, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So it stopped it.
Yeah.
But now I'm going back into these tours, and I don't know if you guys realize that people are more happy to say where they grew up at, or where they live at now.
Right.
Where before it was kind of like, I don't know if I want to say that. I've always been proud, because I know that does not make me. What makes me is who I am, the people who raised me, my reflection, their reflection of me. So my zip code has nothing. I mean, it gives me a little bit more, that little swag or that street knowledge that I need, but it's a balance. But nothing to be embarrassed of. And I want to educate the kids that are living there now. If we can't tap into generations like ours, but like Ashley's, or the millions of Ashleys that are watching, that there is opportunity, there is hope, and make sure that, like you said, in music programs, all these things come back. So the tour consists of the NYCHA buildings. I sit with them in the cornerstones, have conversation, give them the book, and put them to work in what they love to do, whether it's music, fashion, hair, radio. Get individuals like you guys to say, hey, you could bring those 3-4 students up here.
Absolutely.
We're interned them, and then the city pays you guys to do that.
And the children have to learn that it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You don't choose what you're born into. You know what I mean? But you control what comes out of it.
Absolutely.
So you can, there's a bunch of geniuses and superstar athletes and millionaires and business owners and founders that were born in the projects.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people that we look up to came from the projects, and you know, you can choose to let it hinder you, and let the stigma control you and control your output, and you know, you can be lazy, or you can be thugged out, or you can take the street route, or you know, you can take the other route, you know, and go to school, or learn a trade, or start your business. You know, it's all dependent on the individual. So I'm glad you say more people are proud to say where they came from, because you should be proud, you know, regardless of what you're born into, that's what's going to make you, you know, so be proud. Like, and remember, Jay-Z said a project is a project. Like, there was people that put that shit together because it's literally a project. They want to see how humans react to these substandard living conditions, and being overcrowded, and being, you know, so close to each other, such proximity. And, you know, that's why you've seen a lot of them get torn down and replaced with the townhomes. It's just an evolution of the project, but it's still, you know.
Right, and what they're doing now, too, to add on to that, they're offering Section 8 to more people. However, yes, you know, a person sees that and, oh, that's my way out of here. They're going to give me a check for $1,800, and I just got to put the other $6, whatever the case may be. Then they get out.
Yeah, and a lot of people won't accept them.
Right, or they get into these apartments where $600 sounded cool at the time, but realistically, $600 is a lot for someone who's used to paying $175, $250 max. So it's like a setup. So instead of us buying ourselves out, we need to buy our blocks. We need to buy our communities. We need to say, no, I want to buy into this.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave. And if I leave, this is my expectations when I leave. This is what I want.
Right.
But again, that's all about knowledge and awareness of the power that we have, and learning to execute that. And I think that's our struggle right now. It's not so much a weakness, it's a challenge. It's how do we challenge ourselves to challenge others? Because once we see people in power, we assume, oh, this person is smart. Oh no, and my family does that all the time, and I'm always debating with them. Like, they'll fight to the end for certain politicians, and I'm like, do you know this person? Because you really going hard. Like, you know, like you just broke bread with them yesterday. This is just a promise. Let's look deeper.
Message.
You know?
And build with the politicians that are actually within your distance.
Your
you know,
district. Because people just, they think, you know, president, the Congress, it's so much. It's the people right in your community, really, that are your voices to get to these other people. But again, knowledge, educating our people to see that it's so much more and understand that. Yeah,
and reunite them to build that power of community back, something that we definitely need. So shout out to you for doing such. Shout out to From Projects to Profits. Everybody be on the lookout for that. Shout out to Power of Stilettos. Now, Power of Stilettos is more so for the ladies.
Yes.
And the empowerment of women and the education.
Yes.
And spreading resources to them to get back on their feet or to get further in whatever they're, you know, trying to do. So,
like a sistership. Everything you said formulated into a sistership. Like a sorority without the whatever it is that they.
And again, the networking. So you build your sisterhood, you know, with a strong web of women, you know, not just on your block.
Right. And the women, the older women have to educate the younger ones. So we have a division called YDL, which is Young Driven Ladies. Okay. And then after you hit 21, then you would power the stilettos. Okay. So it's all he got.
Oh, he had to go eat. But no, shout out to that. Shout out to Power of Stilettos. All my ladies, make sure y'all tap into that. Make sure you're following Jamilah-Rose at Epiphany Amor. Shout out to From Projects to Profit.
Bludshot.
You back?
Yes, sir.
We're just wrapping up. So shout out to From Projects to Profits, Power of the Stilettos. Shout out to Epiphany Amor. Shout out to Bougie Cosmetics. All my ladies, go check that out. Shout out to Pearls and Lipsticks, the beauty bars, one in Brooklyn, one in Bloomfield, New Jersey. Go check that out. That's where you can pick up your Bougie Cosmetics and your Epiphany Amor accessories. And Pro Life Entertainment. One last thing before we go. Pro Life Entertainment is for brands and artists that want to collaborate or maybe need your help with some branding advice.
Yes. So I have clients that I take on full time, but now with the responsibility that I have, not just with Hercules, but 2 other clients, and just maintaining my own projects. What I do is I offer project-based situations or services where they'll say, okay, well, I have an album coming out the next month. I want to put an event together. I need some press and some marketing.
Right.
I get that done for them.
Okay.
So it's different services that they can buy into.
Depending on what they need.
Yeah, depending on what they need. Right. Definitely. Whether it's studio, whether it's radio, you saw me there? You want to come here? Okay, I'll hook that up for you. Services like that.
So everybody make sure you check that out. That's Pro Life Entertainment, and you can reach them all these brands, all these not-for-profit organizations. If you need a minister, if you need to get married, if you need a counselor, if you need a fashion designer, if you need some fashion advice to step it up to look, funky fresh, if you need a motivational speaker, if you need a songwriter, if you need a publicist, everybody check out Miss Jamilah-Rose. Follow at Epiphany Amor. Reach out to her. Build that network. Build that connection, and she'll help you.
I got a question for you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Where does Epiphany Amor come from? Where'd you get that name?
Great question. It was an epiphany. Like literally, I was in the pharmacy. And this older lady was like, she kept looking at me. I always get these strange moments, even at church. When I used to go to church, I'm like, I'm sitting in the back because I don't want the pastor coming at me saying, I have a message for you. Don't give me no message. Leave me alone. But it was a messenger. And she was like, oh, don't get scared. I was like, I'm not. This happens all the time. I go to Burnz, I go to Vegarta. Somebody wants to tell me something. She was like, she was talking to me in Spanish. She was like, you're very smart, and whatever you're thinking to do, you need to do it now. Like, don't get scared. Do what you have to do. Mm-hmm. The clothes, whatever. And I'm like, well, she doesn't know me.
Right.
So this is a message. So I left it alone. I was like, all right. Went to bed. I literally had a dream creating the accessories that I started creating like a couple of days later after the dream.
There you go.
So when I got up, I was like, yo, this is an epiphany. And I added the Amor. I was like, oh, Epiphany Amor. Because it's the love for something that gives you that epiphany. It's like an awakening, like a tap on the shoulder, like, hello.
This is what you need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how it pretty much, it came. And I said I would never change the name because of it. And anything that I do will have to fall as an umbrella or a separate entity, but that has to remain. And even when people say, well, you are a brand, so what would you say your brand is? I say, I'm the halal girl. I call myself the halal girl because I'm Arabic, and everything else falls with the halal girl.
Yeah. Shout out to that. Shout out to Epiphany Amor. We're gonna see some new drops soon.
Yes, a lot, and I have some stuff for you, young
there
lady.
You
and shout out to our girl.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to the manager of the show, Miss Dolly, doing her thing. Shout out to Luna Bright Whitening. Make sure y'all hit that up.
And shout out to my guy that brought me here, Tempest Travel.
There you go. Absolutely. And shout out to the brother Hercules, and good luck. May 24th, the polls. 24th. Make sure if you're in Brooklyn, if you're a citizen, if you want stuff to change, if you want to get shit right, go out there, hit them polls. Make sure your vote is heard. Even if you're not voting for the brother Hercules, hopefully you are, but if you're not, just go out there and make sure you're part of the process and make sure your voice and vote is heard, because it's very important. And a lot of people died for that, right? Yes, he did. I read that.
He got endorsed by our mayor, Eric Adams.
Eric Adams,
it
yes.
was a big
wow.
Yeah, we had a press conference. I think it was Tuesday. He has worked with Eric in the past.
Yep.
And,
He picked him over his own guy, right? Something like that? That I was reading?
Well, that's what they say, but...
The way they worded.
The way they worded, you see, with him and Hercules, people would assume, because he worked with him before, he had, some green light. Mm-hmm. No, network did play into him understanding who he is, but he had to show the man first. Achievement. He had to, do a lot before receiving that endorsement. Yep. We raised over $100,000 in this campaign.
Shout out to that.
Wow.
Over $100,000. And He has the Carpenter Union's endorsement, DC 37.
Nice.
The mayors came after. So he had to put in work. So to get, an endorsement such as the mayor, that speaks volume. And he's 29 years old.
Yep. And obviously he's from Brooklyn.
Obviously from Brooklyn,
So
District
he's
58.
gonna do it for the home.
He's gonna do it
hometown.
for the home. People's choice. That's what I call him, the people's choice.
There you go. Shout out to him. Shout out to that. Shout out to Brooklyn as always.
And shout out to you guys. Thank you for having
Absolutely.
me.
Thank
It's been
you.
such a pleasure, and I want to come back like next week.
Come on back. We gotta have that man woman talk. The barrier of understanding
We
between
have
men and
it's
women.
a lot.
Yes, but you'll come back. We'll talk about that. I'm sure you have a couple artists you work with that you're gonna bring up to us.
Yes.
And when the book drops, definitely let us know so we can follow up on that. A Rebel in Heels coming soon. Make sure y'all are looking out for all the other projects. Follow at Epiphany Amor. Follow at Clothes and Lipstick. Follow at Power of Stiletto. Shout out to Ash for coming through today. She has
Big
her own
Ash.
radio thing going on. Also interning at Def Jam. Shout out to that. I'm
Really?
waiting for my Def Jam jacket and leather and all that. Shout out to
Oh,
that. Keep doing your
man.
thing. Much love to you. Absolutely,
Keep
always.
growing.
You're gonna become a big exec, huh?
Hell
I
yeah.
hope so. That's the plan.
And then you
So
gotta
look,
bring
when
Uncle
we,
Joe
when we
in.
have the book, you guys are gonna cover.
Yes, absolutely.
The book
I want an
signing.
autograph.
You're gonna do the red carpet, and then I get to sit down and relax a little bit. Okay, everybody's in place.
Absolutely, we'll be there. Brother Blood, any shout outs?
Yo, shout out to the women, man. Props, man. I'm a girl dad. I got 3 girls myself. They drive me crazy, but if they can aspire to be something like you or something like Ash, I'll be super proud. Just, women need to keep believing that they can be something besides just, like a housewife. And, we need women to empower themselves. And you, Epiphany Amor, Jamilah are an impressive young lady. I look forward to seeing a lot of big things from you and maybe becoming like a senator, something like AOC one day. I can definitely see that.
I appreciate that
Absolutely.
so much. Like, I humbly accept that from your words to God's ears, your mouth. Like, I really do accept that. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you guys so much.
Yes, and good luck on next
Definitely.
year's. You're running for
City Council.
City Council. Shout out to that. Good luck on that.
That's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but it's so much, like I said, the details of it, and I learned a lot. So I definitely want to shout out everybody along the course of my career that has helped me in any way, whether it was good or bad. It was something that I learned. It's a task that creates testimony, and I'm here for it. I'm open to collaborate, to network with other like-minded individuals, and keep things going, because I feel like a leader's only as good as he or she is willing to share. If you keep information to yourself, you are not doing justice to yourself or to anyone else. So I'm here. Like, let's work.
Yes, absolutely. And to the community. If you keep that information to yourself, you're not helping the
You're
community.
not helping.
So help the community, help the kids. All my ladies out there, shout out to y'all. All my lady entrepreneurs, shout out to y'all. Shout out to Jamilah-Rose, obviously. Shout out to the skincare guru. Shout out to Soul Scrub. Shout out to S Gentle Care. Shout out to Nat the Jeweler. Shout out to Dolly and Luna Bright Whitening. If I'm forgetting any of y'all, my bad.
y'all.
But shout out to all of y'all, all my ladies out there doing y'all thing. Shout out to my homegirl Marisol and Callie doing the insurance thing. Shout out to all y'all ladies doing y'all thing out there. Shout out to Jamilah-Rose for coming through. Shout out to Ash for coming through. We're gonna
I do want to give one more shout out.
Yes,
That's
please.
okay. Shout out to Mama Jones.
Mama Jones.
Mama Jones is a woman who's so sweet with a big personality.
Right.
She has 2 books. She has a perfume. She has a liquor brand. She's a woman that's about her business.
Yes.
And she detaches from being Jim Jones' mom.
Right.
Even though that attachment would always be there.
Yep.
And he loves his mom and they look good together. They work well together, but she's a standalone.
Yeah.
So I definitely admire that.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
a very strong woman in the community as well. And she's all about helping other women.
Absolutely.
And when I met her, it was like speaking to an auntie.
There you go.
It was that easy.
Shout out to that. Also, shout out to Cinnamon Jones. She did her thing at Wu Wear. She's still doing her thing, brand management for Wu-Tang Clan. They're going on tour. Shout out to the brother Power. Shout out to Nas. Yeah, man, absolutely. Shout out to all that good stuff. All the ladies, as always. We're going to wind it down with the love song of the week. The brother F got that tuned up. We're going out with this whole episode been for the ladies. This whole episode been for the roses. Shout out to the roses. We're going to go out with the legend herself, Miss Aretha Franklin. Ooh. A Rose is Still a Rose featuring Lauryn Hill. The M. Burnz love song of the week. Brother F got that tuned up. Shout out to all the ladies, shout out to all the moms, shout out to all the sisters out there, the wifeys, shout out to all the aunties, shout out to all my entrepreneurs, all the bartenders, all the flight attendants. I can't go without shouting out the thotties and the side pieces. Episode 110, the Godcast. Shout out to Aretha, shout out to Lauren. Shout out to Jamilah-Rose and all the roses. This is my music. Shout out Blood. Shout out to the white boy.
Shout out Ash.
Woohoo! It's still a rose.
Motherfucker.